Welcome to the Scent of Beauty. My name is Susan, and this video is titled Resolution and in parentheses Modulation, Part 11. This series has helped us to see beyond resolution and the annual timeline that resolutions are usually known for, or I should say stated. My New Year's resolution is, or my resolution is to, and individuals can fill in the blanks. And we've learned that there's so much more to a resolution, and especially emotional resolution, the heart and the brain and the heart and the heart and the brain, emotions that generate it, but could not sustain it. So we are learning about modulation and how that change in our belief system can help us to move away from localization. And two of the primary model that was used in this series used as teaching tools, their work and their passion were Alexander Graham Bell and Jesse Eugene Russell. And today I'm starting with Cyrus Westfield. And who is Cyrus Westfield? He created the Atlantic Telegram Company, and this is going back to the 1858. The first telegram cable across the Atlantic was laid. And because so often, especially in this generation, we know about the telephone, we know about cell towers and frequencies like wavelengths, but this was the cable, and the cable was laid under and is laid under consciousness. So it's a great teaching tool. There is a focus on towers, what is visible in the here and now, but without cables, they are useless. So to resolve the issue of distance 10 years into having the same aspiration, we could use this tool, this teaching as a tool to check the cable. How extended is my belief, your belief? How extended is our belief? And modulation, that change. And I wanted to slow down and for us to have a visual of a slower change, not a quick, instant change, but for modulation purpose, to lay the cable, the Atlantic cable, it took 4 years and it eventually failed. It broke after 4 years. The engineers, Cyrus Westfield, put resources, all the resources that he had, along with others that he convinced to put their resources together. It failed 4 years into the making. And at this stage, 4 years into the making, who would have faulted him if he just packed up and went away? Didn't he put all that he had into it? 4 years, all that he had into his resolution. And there is something so interesting because the cable broke, but not his passion. Are your cables broken? Are my cables broken? What is the purpose of your belief or the purpose of my belief? Because he said, my confidence was firmed and my determination fixed. This is 4 years and the cable broke. And enthusiastically, he said, we have learned a great deal. And next summer, we'll lay the cable without a doubt. We're talking about resolution, passion, and modulation. In 1865, I believe, yes, 1865, the second improved cable was laid, because now, optimism and optimum working together, because this improved cable that was laid 11 years, more than half of the cable was broken. In one of my videos, I spoke about surety protruding through uncertainty. And that uncertainty and that doubt is the belief that challenges those points, that challenges us. That's an endpoint. But Cyrus Westfield is teaching us about cable laying it to the place where we just don't give up, regardless of broken pieces. I heard an engineer that a submarine that was laying submarine cable, he said, right, that laying the cable is a journey into the unknown. And I said to myself, I get that. Trying to communicate, telecommunicate, transcommunicate a desire, a belief, a passion, a resolution. It's risky. Engineers, and this is what resolution and modulation, it's engineering. It takes risk. And we have to develop some form of understanding these underconscious tools that is needed to plow away into these barriers. Just like with submarine cables, before they even get laid, they have to keep plowing away to remove blockers. How far do I want to go depends on what and how important what you or I, what we're trying to accomplish. How passionate am I really? And how passionate are you really in regards to resolution? When giving up is not an option, we have to plow through the unknown. It's a given, a necessity. If we develop a designated belief, and the designated belief is conscious knowledge of the places I plan to lay out my line, who, where, what, and when, and why am I trying to communicate? What is it that I want to say? To officially choose to do or to be something. We're talking about resolution. It really is about conscious choice, not just primarily conscious in the beginning, but conscious choices is a continual, that is the modulation. Telegeography, comprehension, I should say, is that submarine cable map, right? If you look that up, you'll see all these cables that are laid out, but it seems like it has disorder, but there is a a rhyme and a reason to why it's laid out in those specific ways. And it's a continual, updated, interactive mapping. And that's why you can't rely only on the emotion. There has to be mapping to think it out, think it through. The resolution, my modulation, I have to think it through. Purpose, my belief. Purpose, your belief. We have to purpose our belief. And so that wait and see what, if anything, happens concept reveals an individual not participating in their own psyche well-being, a lack of modulation, that change. Wait and see if anything happens. That is a lack of knowledge of what's going on underneath our consciousness. Sometimes we don't even know where the belief is laid, like how to locate what we really believe, not what we tell ourselves. And again, this submarine communication cable, it helped me to see that, it's laid along the seabed and it carries telecommunication signal between land-based station, right? But sometimes, where is our belief? Where is that located? Is it laid with purpose? And although we know, especially in this day and age, about satellite dish, satellites, in actuality, transmission that we use, this telecommunication, 99% of all our international data between continents and land, it's the cables that's laid. They're on the seabed. Actually, they're buried under the seabed for its protection, in a sense, which explain why we wouldn't see it, like if we went to the beach, if we went for a walk at the beach, you just don't see the cables. They're deep seated on the ocean floor. And that's why I said in my other videos, these deep seated belief, are they broken? Are they laid directly in alignment with our resolutions? Are they carrying the signal across to those areas that we intend them to go? We desire for them to reach? In 1866, the third cable was laid, and in July of 1866, successful connection happened. 1966, and they retrieved what was broken in the cable that was broken in 1865. So that's why I'm saying all is not lost. Like with our belief system, if some parts are broken off and they're not in right alignment, all is not lost. Those could be retrieved and used to help us in our modulation stage. Why? Because there's answers in the problems just as much as the solutions that we celebrate. The answers in the problems are to be celebrated also. 12 years. His passion, 12 years. Think about it. Today, 12 years waiting and trying and failing and having that no doubt concept. Although Cyrus, he never thought he failed. That's the beauty of laying these cables and the beauty of passion. his resolution was never affected. Isn't that amazing? 1865, the cable broke. So out of sight, out of mind. No, it's still there. So the cable that's broken, when our belief system is broken, no, out of sight, out of mind. No, it's still there. It lingers. It's concealed, but it's impactful to the system of operation that we desire. Seeing is believing. Hopefully by now we know that that's not accurate in regards to resolution and our belief system, that there is more. There is our psychological world, which is beautiful, but need attending to. Seeing clearly what is protectively buried beneath our conscious viewing, that's a gift. Once we could see it and we get it to lay, just like with Cyrus Westfield, we get to communicate, not localize, but to the world. Each cable has a purpose. There is a cable that spans from America to Europe. And there, I mean, you could just go on and on and on. Anywhere that we could, anyone that we could communicate with on a global scale, it's what's going on under conscious, the cable that was first laid. He helps us to see that there is more to a resolution than what we feel or think. 12 years. It's not a long time. It's an investment in our time. So in this series, we get to see beyond what is right at hand. With Cyrus Westfields, the answer, as I said, in the problems, and he deemed that success. He kept moving on when even the investors, their amplitude and frequency reached their maximum capacity. Cyrus wasn't localized dependent. He found others that would pick up with him and go where he was going. And that's the cable. When we lay our cable, we expand and we keep on going, even when others have reached their maximum capacity. It's our passion. I always said, what? The universe will support us. This is the modulation journey. And I know I talk a lot about, pep talks and motivational speakers. That everything has its place. I'm not knocking it, but we're talking about the modulation and journeying, our amplitude, our frequency, and our phase in motion. So we have learned from some of the greats, Alexander Graham Bell, Jesse Eugene Russell, Cyrus Westfield, and so many others have taught us what it means to have a resolution, that passion, and not to give up on our resolutions, regardless of what's external. If we could tap into our psyche, in our psychological development, as we feel the emotional rush, yes, that happy and delight that we feel when we are modulating, changing as we go along, knowing that we are fundamentally laying our cable in our psyche, because we are worth being heard globally. Perseverance, determination couldn't have been in the finish. It was in the passion, the resolution. He used that time to learn, to gain answers within himself and how to communicate. And as he learned to communicate with himself, he taught us how to communicate with others and he gave us that tool. So we thank him for utilizing what's not necessarily seen because it's underconscious, but it is definitely the source of life. So welcome to the Scent of Beauty. So grateful to do this series. I've learned so much. It is a delight to learn about modulation and how much the cable bed in our lives can expand and reach so many people as we communicate our individual scent of beauty. Thank you.